coming to the panel. I feel so loved. The Walking Dead cast, they send their love to you also. They send their love. Everybody, thank you. So, I would just like to instantly open up the floor for any questions that you might have. Anybody go? Anybody
How
go?
did you feel after you first did the first episode?
It was painful. Because, yeah, Merle kicked my butt. Yeah. That hurt. Did you see how hard I hit my hand on that pole? I'm still getting over the concussion. I see, I'm looking at you right there. I see you. No, it was, when we shot it, you know, basically my thing was I said, I'm just glad I'm working. I have another job. Cool. And it was about, when we shot the rooftop scene, it was about 115 degrees on that rooftop.
That's average.
It was, that's average. You're like, what are you complaining about? It's an average day here. What are you talking about? But hey, you know, being from Atlanta, that's just something. And I play football too. And I play, you know, put the shells on every day, the ties, the helmet, and all that stuff. And you know, I thought that was hot. But it was nothing compared to 115. I know y'all can do that. Like, oh man, this is beautiful, man. This is the life, 115. But Lori Holden, she came to me. It's like we walked to each other like every 5 minutes, and we were like, she was like, is this real? Are we alive? This is unreal. Oh my God. But I thought I was going to die up there. I did. You know, for somebody that's just not used to that. But when we finished and we saw that episode and you fans received it, I was just touched. I was floored. I was like, this is amazing. When it aired, we even beat out Mad Men, which had been on the air for several seasons at the time. And it was our first season. We beat their numbers, which was astounding. I was like, if we just come anywhere near Mad Men's numbers, if we do 2.5 million, that's great. We came out over 3 million, and we're still climbing. Does anybody know where the numbers are right now? What'd you say, 5 million? 10. There it is, Carlos. Over 10 million. Over 10 million viewers right now. Guys, this is our success right here. We beat the major networks. We beat out NBC, we beat out ABC, we beat out CBS for the numbers for the fall season. It's the biggest show of this fall. So give yourselves a round of applause. I love it. So that's just to make a short answer long. Next. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's opened up stage curtains. Yeah. It's a big door. It's a pretty big door. It's like everybody around the world watches this show now, you know? People, you know, there are people all over the world from South America to Asia, Europe, all over the world. And, you know, I have Twitter friends from everywhere. So the directors and producers, they're taking note. And they're like, okay, well, this show's pretty popular, so we should, you know, it would behoove us to hire the people from this show. So I ended up landing a gig with Nev Campbell, you know, second behind Nev Campbell, in a project called Sworn to Silence, where I play a former Army Ranger veteran who's on the hunt for a serial killer in a small Amish community before the serial killer takes over the entire community. So, yeah, that's a big one for me. And then, you know, among, you know, other things amongst that as well. So, thank you. Okay, the Freddie hand in the back.
Okay, everybody wants to know if Lori's baby is going to be dead. Can you come out that way?
Okay, well before that, you didn't ask whose baby it was. I'm sorry, I had to say it. Well, you know, they said don't spoil it, so I don't want to spoil it. So talk to me after the panel discussion. Yes, ma'am.
Were you a fan of the comics before doing the show?
Shamefully, no. I didn't know anything about the comics. My agent called me and said that, are you interested in auditioning for a zombie TV show? And I'm like, zombies? I was traumatized as a kid. I watched a lot of Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and all that stuff. So, but he told me he was attached to it. Frank Darabont, Gail Ann Hurd, that's when I got really interested, and then that's when I got into the comic book. So, yes. I'll go to this side. Yes, sir, I see you there.
Quick question. At one scene, the key scene, how intense was that for you when you did that scene with the girl?
That was intense. That was intense because we did it about 10, 11, 12 times. And I think I just destroyed my vocal cord. You know, when I told him, I said, I'm sorry! It took so much out of me to do that because, like I said, it was 8,000 degrees. And I was tired, and I had to kick the thing. Like, the tool kit. You saw the tool kit I hit, right? I don't know why that tool kit weighed like 95 pounds. I don't know why they put all that stuff in there. Should have put some fake stuff in there, but there were real tools in there. And as I was running, I had to hit it and then, look really goofy. Oh. And I couldn't get it because it was so heavy. I could barely move the thing an inch. So once I got done doing that, I was just really exhausted. It was intense. What did T-Dog do? What do you mean? It was a mistake. It was a mistake. God understands. All right. Yes, ma'am. I saw a finger there. Yes, ma'am.
There's a lot of zombies on the show. Which one is your favorite?
Ooh. I wouldn't say my favorite, but the nastiest, most disgusting one is the werewalker. It was nasty though. I could barely get through that scene. I was gagging nonstop. And I told some of you at the booth today, when I was doing the scene, I was like, and the director came over to me. Billy was like, Arnie, the gagging is good. He said, but let's try it again without the gagging. I can't help this. I can't help the gagging. I couldn't help it, really. It was just a nasty walker, So that was the nastiest one. Yes, ma'am.
Is there anybody on set that can't handle the gore, they'll faint or they can't handle it?
Yeah, me. Everybody else is good. But we get through it. I get through it. I want to go back to this. I'll bounce back and forth. Do a little tennis match. All right. Yes, sir.
Hey, who came up with that nickname to call the zombies walkers?
That was Robert Kirkman's idea. He said, if you call them zombies, it just seemed too cliche. He said, we were in a world where we didn't know what zombies were. Like us, we've known of zombies since Night of the Living Dead, since George Romero. So to call them that would just make it kind of cliche and it would kind of take away from that world. So he referred to them as either walkers or geeks, or you hear people refer to them differently, in the shows, in different shows. Over here. Yes, sir.
Is there any chance of Merle coming back?
Don't you say that too loud. There hasn't been a Merle sighting, right? Wow, that's gonna be a tough one too. He's coming back. He's coming back. He'll be back. Give it up. I love Booker though. He was at my viewing last week and I had a couple of cancellations. Lori Holden had a viewing party for the first episode, and Lori Holden had to cancel. She had to fly out to LA, and Scott Wilson, who plays Herschel, he had to go see his mother, and everybody else was in New York at the New York Comic Con. So Michael Rooker just showed up. He came back from the New York Comic Con and just popped up at my house. And nobody else would have been there but me, and it was just so touching. But I love him like a brother. That's Michael Rook, y'all. That's Merle. That's Merle for you. I'll be back. I'll be back. Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering, when you're going to love interest, and also I like to volunteer as well.
Take me, I'm yours! We're gonna have to wait and see, you know, because it's the zombie apocalypse and it's hot. You get hot and heated out there. Yeah, so everybody needs to love. What'd you say? Right. I know. We got kids in here though. I wish I really tell you what's on my mind. I'll tell you what's on my mind. All right. After the show. All right. Over here. Yes, sir. Kevin.
Hey, is there anybody who's really good to hang out with, or anybody on the cast or crew that is a really good person that you want to hang out with a lot, or you do hang out with?
Everybody. But everybody. For different reasons, but particularly I always talk about Jeffrey DeMond though, because I saw my father twice in my life, and so, yeah, I did. Oh, she's on the phone. I thought she was talking to me. I'm sorry. But I saw my father twice in my life, so I never had, that father figure. I did have my uncle there in my life. I grew up in the inner city of Atlanta, the projects where, drugs ran rampant, violence and all that stuff. So my uncle was the perfect person for the job in that environment. But in an ideal world, Jeffrey DeMond would have been the person for that job because we bonded so much. It was like he felt like the way a father should be. And when I was on the set, it was always like, we just talked. It was like that relationship that I kind of envisioned. Like, man, this would have been great to have as a child. But, so he would probably be at the top of the list, and then everybody else too, though. But there was a bonding moment that I had with everybody on the set. Not so much the kids, because they're not as profound as adults. So I tend to, whenever I do any project, try to find that common link between me and that individual, and we tend to get really profound. And I think that's start talking about stuff that you ordinarily wouldn't talk about, and that's how we see everybody. I'll be back. Yes, sir.
Set, like after you do the episode, where stresses out the most? Like after the set, they're like, oh man, I'm happy it's over, blah.
Right.
Oh.
I can't think of anybody. I think that as tedious and as difficult as that show is to make, like you see all the physical labor that we put in on that show, but I can't recall anybody ever saying, oh, I'm so glad that's over. I'm so, even with that being on the rooftop or whatever, I think that, when Lori Holden and I made the comments like, are we alive? I think we were slightly delusional. So that doesn't count. But when we finished shooting, it was great because we're doing something we love. We knew we were putting out a product that hopefully you would love, and you have loved. And so we're just grateful more than anything else. I'm glad that's over. I'm the Cookie Monster. Oh, great. All right, next. Yes, ma'am.
What was your audition process like?
It was as simple as putting myself on tape. I went to my agency, put myself on tape, and my agent sent it to Frank Darabont. Frank Darabont liked it, but I played it differently. I played it a different way. I played it because the name is T-Dog. So it suggested that he was more hip-hop. He was more, pants on the ground. Looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. He was kind of like that, so. But that wasn't the way Frank Darabont wanted me to play it. So he sent back to my agent and said, well, have him play it this way. Just have him play it straight. And so I played it straight, and he liked it. And the next day, I was booked. So it was simple, very simple, from tape. I'll be back. I'm coming. No, I gotta go here, and then I'm coming back to you, though. All right? All right. You're on deck. You're on deck. All right. Yes, sir. now, which way are the zombies coming from? What? From where? Behind me? Run for your life! You gotta run as fast as you can. That's the key, you know, unless if a zombie comes up to you, you have to defend yourself. But, I mean, who wants to fight a horde of zombies? So, I'm gonna run, and I would encourage you to. Yes, sir.
Okay, two short questions. Number one, why the hell did you tell Dale to get a nice RV? Number two, why don't you tie Carl's ass up, keep it in the ditch?
Well, number one, the RV, it was sentimental. It had sentimental value, so it was something that he and his wife got early on in their lives. So he couldn't see himself parting with the RV. So that's why it was so old and rusty and all that stuff. It reminded him of his wife. So, well, not the, no. Don't put that on YouTube. Don't put that on YouTube. And Carl, we actually had the rope. He's too fast though. We tried to tie him. We tried to lasso him. We could not. That boy won't stay still. So, as you do.
I saw him in the camper yesterday at Con.mov.
Oh, you saw him in the camper?
My sister saw Carl at Con.mov yesterday.
Really? She couldn't catch him, could she? Tell me. The boy's fast. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I'm wondering your personal opinion. Who do you feel the best leader was? Rick or Shane?
T-Dog? Oh, you said Rick Shane. You said Rick Shane. I would say Rick. What'd you say? Tell me anything. I'll leave this room. You say, yeah, whatever. I would say Rick. Rick seemed to be, he seems to be the more rational one. Shane, although he did stuff that was warranted, but he went about it the wrong way. He was too irrational with his decision making. Although I felt his intent was in the right place, his heart was in the right place, it was just that it was just too willy-nilly. It was too erratic. Yeah. All right. Yes. Oh, you've been back there. Okay, I'll be back in minutes 8. Okay, one moment. Okay, we got the horns here. All right, nice horns. Hey, I'm interested. I want to hear what you want to say. I really want to hear this.
Well, first of all, before, do you remember Voodoo Doll yesterday?
The what yesterday?
This is what was under the Voodoo Doll.
Oh, really?
And this is Big Baby over here.
Oh, hey, big baby. What's up, big baby?
But my question is, are you relieved that it's The Walking Dead instead of those new running zombies?
Oh, yes. Oh, man, yeah. Yeah, I like The Walking Dead. The show would have been over in 2 episodes. I mean, right? Come on. Those zombies were fast, like Dawn of the Dead. They were sprinters. They were like, it could be like Usain Bolt. What's that? 28 days later. And yeah, they're just too fast. It takes away from it for me. Yes, ma'am.
Did you guys ever have any fun with all the blood and guts on set at any time?
I think we did just shooting it all. We were constantly dealing with blood, having blood splashing off, the fake blood splashing our faces and all that stuff. So I think that was fun enough. Yeah. We constantly playing blood all the time. We're a bloody bunch. Yes, sir.
Question. If the zombie apocalypse would happen, would you go for those guys? Like it was the same cast of The Walking Dead?
Would I go with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good cast. They've got my back. I feel like. Yeah. He's got to catch me. Carl's fast, but I'm fast too. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
How was it filming season
several times. You know what? We shot that whole scene. We shot it maybe 100 times because we shot it one way, and when we were done with it, Frank didn't like it, so he flew in from LA, and we had to shoot it all over again. I would have to say that might have been one of my most grueling days, if not the most grueling day. And when I read the script, you know, a few pages, I was at page 5 in, and T-Dog slashes his arm. Oh, Lord. I'm gone. So I flipped to the back of the script to make sure he was in the back. I said, oh, T-Dog walks this way. Oh, he lives! Oh, God! So I wiped the sweat bubbles from my forehead and went back to the front of the script and read on. So it put me in panic mode. All right. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah, Daryl's kind of sexy. Okay. Yeah, Daryl, Daryl's a rock star, you know? I like Daryl a lot. Rick, the whole cast, really. I love them all. I have a personal connection with each of them, so, yeah, everybody. Yes, ma'am?
What would you do if you became a zombie in the TV show?
I would come down with my mouth chopping. Because I would look for fresh flesh. And I get to you. And realize you are a zombie too. And say, let's go eat somebody else. Good question, good question. All right, yes, sir. You, sir? Yes, sir.
Merle's gonna be back in season 3, right? So, are we gonna see anybody from season 1 be coming back? Like, for example, the people that were in Rick's house in season 1, the little kid and the father.
Right, Morgan,
And even
Dwayne, Morales.
yeah, are we gonna see him again?
Yeah, it depends. You know, it depends on what they do in the writing room. You know, it just depends on what they think would propel the show forward, moving forward. You know, so there's a possibility of anything happening. They didn't die, so it could happen. Okay. My hands, I loved it. I don't think we're getting out of here tonight. This is good. Pull out the sleeping bags. We're staying here. Tough. First one to speak, this man.
When you guys were filming,
Well, let me say this. He's such a gentleman. He pointed to you. He said, let her go. Yes, ma'am.
when you guys were filming, when Sofia comes off Warren, how was it like filming that scene?
That was painful. That was one of those painful moments. Whenever, just like losing Dale, just like losing Sophia, you know, Shane, whenever we lose a cast member, it's like losing, you know, one of our own. Because we've grown so close to each other. We've like made history together. You know, it's something special comes from something like that. So whenever somebody has to leave the show because of death, we took that in like weeks beforehand when we found out she was going to die. We read the script, and it was tough then, and then it got tougher when we had to actually shoot it. And then when I saw it on TV, it was even tougher. Just a painful experience, you know? Yeah. Okay, I'll go back there. Yes, sir.
Is this your first time in the Valley, and have you had Taco Palenque yet?
Yeah! This is my first time in the Valley, and yesterday I had Palenque Grill. The Palenque Grill. That's a lot of food. And it's so good. I'm thinking about staying here just for the food. Yes. Yes, sir.
Would you like to kill zombies?
How do I like it? Pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. poker stick. It's a technique. You got to squat, arm up like a javelin thrower. Back, squish, in the burn. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Is Daryl much of a badass like he is in the show in real life?
No, Reedus is a teddy bear. He's a teddy bear. He's just tough on TV, tough in the movies. But no, he has those characteristics. But he's a well-rounded individual. You know, he's tough sometimes when he has to be. Teddy bear other times. He is. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say I love you again. I'm a huge fan.
I love you. Kisses, smooches, smooches. Yes, ma'am. I'll come right back, okay? Yes, ma'am. It's been speculated that Otis, that she was killed by a walker, and she came back as a zombie, and Otis came across her before they went looking for supplies to save Carl. And he put her in the barn before his death, before that. So, yeah. Yes, sir. I didn't get you, did I? I'm sorry, yes. Okay.
Seeing how you and Norman Reedus are two of the new unique characters in the show, how do you all feel about that every time you film that an episode? And do you all have a pool wondering when you all get it?
We don't, but you do. Oh, I've read the Twitter. I've read Facebook. T-Dog's gonna die this episode. No, they did not. Trending, talking about T-Dog is gonna die. Which one of you said that? Raise your hand. Look, see, right there. We got on this. What's that? Oh, thank you. Thank you. See, but you heard, what'd you say about the flavor? But when you said you have faith in me, nobody else said anything. That means, see, that's not good. That's not a good sign. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask you, how do the characters get to give your input? Like, you said Merle was coming back. You said, you know what, I think he should get hit by water or something.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah. You should get bit by one. Oh, I'm sorry. I get carried away sometimes. I shouldn't think like that because, it comes back to you. Thinking negative thoughts. Yes, we do. We do. We get an opportunity to speak with writers and make suggestions, and sometimes they take them and sometimes they don't. But yeah, I wouldn't dare think anything malicious like that. I know that Rooker likes being employed, and I don't, it's good there. Yes, ma'am.
Have you been keeping track of your walker kills up to date?
Yeah, I personally have killed over 80,000 walkers. I have the highest kill. Yes, more so than Ricky and everybody else combined. T-Dog is a natural born zombie killer. Yes. Now, I probably got about 3 zombie kills in 3 seasons. You've been watching the show. But no, I don't keep track of the kills or anything like that. Yes, cat. Yes, cat.
Do you have any warm-ups, like, before you get into character or, like, before you go on film?
Yeah, I was doing something before you came in. I was doing a little Shakespeare, Richard Burr. No, seriously, I was like, now is the winter of our discontent. A glorious summer by the son of the orc. And all the clouds that loud upon our house in the deep ocean of the earth. Oh, okay, I messed up. I didn't do I do exercises like that, tongue twisters, Sally sifting seashells by the seashore, many mumbling mice, red leather, yellow leather, red leather. Different things like that. So, yeah, there are exercises that I do. And the kid, sometimes, like Rick does his screaming thing. I guess before an intense scene, he's like, yeah, yeah, oh, damn, yeah, yeah. But everybody has their own thing they do. Yes, sir.
After you're done filming, do you freak out when you're in your house by yourself and you hear something in the background?
I've been doing that since I was 5. Yeah.
I never did before the show.
You didn't? You do it now?
Now I'm freaking out every time it's
Even more so these days, though. But like, no, I think I mentioned that I was traumatized as a kid because I watched a lot of scary movies. So yeah, that started early on. All right. Did I get him? Yes, sir. Right back. Oh yeah. I think one is her ex-boyfriend. So, fellas, you better be good, or you'd be one of the show's zombies. One was her ex-boyfriend. I think her ex-boyfriend's best friend or something like that. But she walked the zombies around to keep the human scent from getting to the other zombies, so they wouldn't find her and bite her, eat her up, or whatever. So that's why she carried them with her. Yes, ma'am.
I've never seen an episode of The Walking Dead.
What?
This panel is over! Sacrilege! No, that's fine. What's that?
I only remember you from The Blind Side.
And you're not throwing tomatoes at me? People are upset with me, man. They met me. They saw me in The Blind Side. They're like, oh, you're so mean in The Blind Side. You make me sick. I played the bad guy in The Blind Side. So, but then they met me. They're like, you are nothing like that person in The Blind Side. So, but thank you. I appreciate that. But no, we're going to show you love. I was just joking. Let's give her a Walking Dead hug on 3. 1, 2, 3. We love you. So you're going to start watching, right?
I have a question. Can you act out a part what you would act like in the Walking Dead?
Yeah, the zombie over here.
You can't say the scene, which scene it is, right? They have to. You want a zombie in the scene? Oh my goodness.
What I'm missing here.
All right. Okay. We got the zombie here. Oh, you're such a pretty zombie. And scene. Take it out. Good job. All right. Everybody else? Yes, ma'am.
You have many different scenes in the show. Do you guys have to go to different places to film different scenes?
Natalie, right? Good. Got it. Good. Yes, we do. We do. Like the first season we shot mostly in Atlanta, in the heart of Atlanta, and then the second season we moved it to Sonoya, Georgia, to the Raleigh studios, and then we've shot a lot of stuff in downtown Sonoya, Georgia, also. So we use different locations. It depends on what the director needs. Yes. Yes, sir.
P-Dog, I want to give you kudos for being